That's a precious line that needs to go in a book. Oh my God, yeah, you should just start the recording because this shit should go somewhere.
Okay, well, I've started it.
You are listening to Author Shenanigans, two authors separated by a common language.
But no, seriously, anyone can look at it and go. So anyway, had he done what I wanted him to do, it would have been fine. It would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd, be happy.
And why didn't this gentleman do it that way?
Fuck if I know. Like, I don't know, like, once people have been in the industry for 30 years, they think they know everything. And, like, hello, copper roots. Well, it's all copper. Like, I got him to paint in some of them, can you see?
Mm-mm.
But, like, shit.
You need a better video camera.
Well, it's on my computer, so.
Yes.
There's nothing we can do.
Yes, you can actually buy video cameras that.
Oh. And then have one of those fliddy things that's on that.
Nah, I see. The one, the person who has like the best camera that usually I've seen is Andrew. He's got one of those that just sits over here, but he looks like he's on fucking TV.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Andrew Dobell.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Exactly, the very one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. No, for some reason, actually, I mean, I not only fucked up the time zone, I fucked up the time. I was thinking it was 11 o'clock my time, not 11:30 your time. So I would have been right either way. Oh my gosh. So I got to go back and figure out because we have like 2 or 3 books to do.
Well,
how much time do you have?
An hour. I heard that from Brittany that you guys have already released number 3. And I don't think, yeah. She's like 3 of them are on Audible. Can you hear the sound in the background? You can just hear me. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, you sound perfect.
I have building works again. So I moved from LA right next to a building site to another fucking building site.
Okay, good to know. Who are you having to get to know do your stuff? Well, I believe Elle's going to help me move. Well, then you're going to move right next to a building site. That's what's going to happen.
I should have been more on the case about this. I mean, like, sometimes it's just hard to figure out the square footage, and that becomes like the distraction. And then you start factoring in, a downstairs gym and, washing machines and all that kind of bullshit. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I think that just got lost in the post, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I mean, but how long? Because I mean, it's they're not sticking a 40-story building next to you, are they?
Oh yeah, no, well 4, 5, depends. You guys start at 1.
Yes, we start at 1.
So right, this building is built on a slope. So at the front, it has a 0 as well. So like, okay, so I'm back here and I come out and I'm on the first floor, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I can walk out. But if you go down and you go in at the front of the building, you have to go upstairs to come up to my level.
Okay. And what do they call that bottom floor?
0.
So they do. But typically in Europe, that's 0 just when you come in off the street.
Yeah, or ground.
Ground. Yeah.
And I think on the elevator button it says G as well. Oh shit, so this fucks me up. Like every time I go to a new building and they have to explain to me, so like some of them have L's and some of them have G's and some of them have 0s and some of them have 1s. And so every time I go into an elevator I have to go, okay, let's decipher this. I'd have more chance if it was like some of these like crypto, crypto, what do they call it? A blockchain.
Yes.
If I had to interpret a blockchain, I'd have more chance.
A blockchain.
Oh, speaking of cryptocurrencies, would you like to
get an update?
Would you like to get it off your chest about how right you were?
No, I mean I wouldn't. I'd be interested to know that conversation said, but so what's going on and why do you think I was right? And this isn't being recorded, right? Or is it?
No, it is being recorded. That's why I thought you wanted to gloat.
Oh, no. Here, I won't gloat, but I am curious because I've watched it fall, but I didn't know if that was just like a stock fall or something.
Right. So I think there was some bad news and stuff and blah, blah, blah. And
Hmm.
so I think there's a trust issue, but there was always a trust issue with people who
Right.
were skeptical. I think the stock market has fallen and that's had an effect. I think we're probably going to see gold and silver prices soon. So
Hmm.
I wish these brokers would hurry up and get my fucking account sorted out. That's completely never, don't get me started on my banking system. But my Ethereum, so I bought in at Ethereum at about 300 and then it went up to like 1,000 or something or 1,000 something. And I'm like, oh shit, if I sold half of this, then that would be all of my positions covered
Hmm.
and I'd be
Hmm.
fine, right?
Hmm.
And so that can do whatever the hell it wants for
Hmm.
forever. But now it's down to 800, I believe. But Bitcoin is back up to 8,000 and I got in at just under 6,000.
Because
So
Bitcoin was at 19 at one point, wasn't it?
19 and a half, yeah. And I was just really chill about it. I'm just like, okay, it'll keep going, it'll keep going. And then Amazon will announce that it's taking Bitcoin as payment and it'll go some more.
Uh-huh.
I think all of that is still going to happen. So I'm just going to hold and let it ride.
Okay. So, well, by letting it ride, you're not then going to go ahead and take any position out that might get you a little bit of your down payment back.
If it went up to like north of 15,000, I would.
Okay. So it's kind of like all or nothing.
Huh?
It's all
Yeah,
or
no, I'm not trying to recover a position. Like I'm seeing this as like a long-term investment. And actually, I had some spare change in the Kraken account, and I just went and threw that into Litecoin because Litecoin are about to announce that, unless they've already done it, that they're going to take like payment systems. Use Litecoin as a payment system, and
uh-huh.
you can do like stuff. I've got a Starbucks app and I can like
Uh-huh.
for my Starbucks on my phone and all that kind of shit. So Litecoin is going to be like one of those kind of things where you can pay for stuff in stores and whatnot. So
Well, I mean, yeah, but they had Bitcoin come out like that like 3 years ago. I don't see
mm,
that that's happened a whole lot.
no, it's starting. So anyway, I've just bought a course that will show me how to accept Bitcoin as payment.
Interesting. And what are you going to accept payment for? Just stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, because you'll go digital, or are you going to transfer anything that's, basically real cash into coin?
No, well, I mean, my view is like if I take coaching payments and stuff
Oh,
as Bitcoin, like so if people have that option,
mm-hmm.
so you take the strike price. So like I'm willing to accumulate Bitcoin.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
So
Interesting. So, I mean, interesting. I'm just going to leave it with that's interesting.
why?
Well, why?
Mm.
Because I think that, obviously most of the time the power company and all the rest of them aren't going to take Bitcoin or Litecoin or any of those, right? So you're going to have cash. So if, for instance, just for the sake of argument, you had 10 people show up and 8 of them decided, yeah, we got these coins. I mean, that would be a great way to acquire the coins, since isn't it, the acquisition is what causes the scarcity and then the movement up potentially. But then you're going to be short cash, and then you're going to have to either switch it over or do whatever. And so it's just going to become similar to you having to decide, am I going to be long or short corn for the sake of argument?
Long or short corn?
Yeah, in other words, if you're doing options on corn, you're never taking the corn itself, right? You're just trying to
Mm.
bet whether or not you're going to make money on it.
Yeah. So there are two ways of looking at it. One is a trade and one is as an investment. So
Hmm.
the positions that I'm holding at the moment, I'm just seeing as investment until we go back up to thing. So what normally happens is when you get a pullback and then it goes up again, right? So this is like if
Hmm.
there's a trend and like everyone agrees, well, let's just put it this way, the institutions are all doing ETFs on Bitcoin and cryptos backed by gold and all this bullshit. So it's not going away, right? So is it going to replace the US dollar? Probably not, because the government won't have that. They'll have their own Fed coin if we go
Yeah.
down that route. Secondly, there are significant problems with cryptocurrencies in general because it's unregulated and la 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 la. All the things
Hmm.
that people say are a bonus are also a problem, right?
Yes.
So it may not replace it. It may replace it in smaller countries like Venezuela or whatever.
Hmm.
But it's in terms of stabilizing a currency. So I think the volatility that we're seeing at the moment, one is speculation, but when it goes up, it's because people can see the potential of it. So it's like doing, when they do these initial coin offerings, it's like doing a public offering with a stock, except you don't own the company, you own part of the currency. And
Hmm.
I think that's probably like a scary thing because that currency isn't worth that much. But the idea is worth something. But the
Yeah.
only way to get in on the idea is to get in on the currency. Okay. So as long as people understand, or like, I'm not even advising anyone here. Like, this is just my
This
thinking.
is not legal
So
document.
this is
This
this
is
is
not
not
legal or
investment
currency.
advice.
Yes.
This is nothing, right? I'm not a financial person. But in my
I'm
point
a
of view,
physicist.
I'm a physicist. So no, as far as I'm
Better
concerned,
than that, I'm a physicist who is a science fiction writer. So don't take any of my financial advice for shit.
I make stuff up for a living.
Yeah, exactly. This is all made up, folks. So before you even try,
Oh my god, I'm a professional liar. I
this
think
is
you could say
this is
about a
the.
lot of these crypto guys, huh?
I say, and this now is when you realize this.
Right. So I'm not thinking that anyone is gonna like act on what I'm talking about, but from my perspective, for what I'm doing, like as long as I understand the two different things or the two or three different like reasons for investing and the mechanism that I'm investing in,
Hmm.
I'm cool. Like I'm not worried, and I'm not putting money in that I can't afford and da 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 da. So anyway, like I'm still quite happy to accumulate Bitcoin at whatever price it's at.
Uh-huh.
Even if it went down to a couple of grand per Bitcoin, like
Really?
yeah,
That's quite a drop that you're willing to stomach.
I would I would be happy because I would buy in more because long term it's not going away.
Okay. That is the bet. That is the bet. Daffodils also didn't go away, but that's okay. Or was it petunias? What was that? What was
No, it was
tulip?
tulips.
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 It was tulips. Yeah, no, I don't see it going away anytime soon. I think Ethereum's got some stuff to do, and
I think they're going to have a shakeout. I mean, at some level, they're going to have to figure out which one of these is going to reign, right?
oh yeah, for
Because
sure, yeah.
there's just too many of them that are out there doing this
And
stuff.
most of them are scams. This is the problem. This is why there's a lack of integrity in the crypto world.
Hmm.
I'd say market, but it's not really proper market yet. But this is why there is so much distrust and so much speculation because basically no one understands the technology apart from maybe a handful of people. No one knows what the implications of the technology are, and really we are just taking bets. So these guys that invested in it like 2 or 3 years ago when it
Hmm.
was pennies or pounds or whatever, or dollars, that they've already walked away as millionaires. They've cashed
Yeah.
out most of their positions and they're good. So, but like it's only now that retail investors are getting in on it. So when I say retail, it's kind of like people like you and I who don't have
Consumer, if you will.
yeah.
Consumer investors. In other words, not high quality investors. Idiots. Short term.
Right, but I mean, the thing is that other than volumes, that's exactly the same as how the hedge funds and the market makers are making the money. It's the same. We're all subject to the same dynamics.
Yes. I mean, if you think about it, we have truly entered the future where all we are betting on is a thought. I mean, it's one thing to say that currency is a thought, right? Because I know that you read the document and everything else, and when America went off the gold standard, where you could actually theoretically take your dollar and go get some gold from it. And that's very theoretical. But when we went there, of course, and they said, really what you're doing is you're basing, and this is for pretty much any country, you're basing the trust in that country to say that dollar has any value whatsoever, or
Right.
that bill, or that euro, or that pound, or whatever. But in this case, you are I mean, you don't even get some pretend paper. That's an amazing technological achievement. You get nothing.
Nothing, right? And so even to the point, so this is one of my problems at the moment, and I've got an email in with Kraken who still haven't answered me. Okay, so these are the guys that got hacked. So I don't leave anything on their platform, right? So normally in a bank you'd leave your money in the bank, and or in your trading account, and you'd be able to trade and put out positions and all this kind of thing. Like you can't do that with this because it's going to get hacked every 5 minutes. and there was Coinbase. No, it's true. So I have it on like a memory stick, like a special memory stick that has all of this kind of special encryption and bullshit. And basically, if I lose that memory stick, which I could have done when I moved house, or if I take it out of that, or just misplace it.
I'm sorry, take it out of where? In the location in your apartment is approximately.
But are you making a joke because I never leave the house?
No, actually, no, I hadn't thought about that. It's just one of those things. It's like, since we're recording this and there's a chance that our fans will be listening to it, it's kind of like, so describe this a little, and it's hidden where.
Oh, right. No, it's got the best hiding place because nothing is organized. So you have to troll through the same shit that I have to troll through to find it.
Where the hell is it? Oh my God. It's like, why do you look so disheveled? Oh, because I thought I lost my little memory stick. It only has a few $1,000s on it.
Well, and quite honestly, I probably have a memory stick or a couple of memory sticks that have far more value in them than that little thing. Simply because this is so volatile and da la la. No, but I mean, the thing is, you lose that, then that's it, gone. And like, I know people who have put their entire fortune into it. So like, one of my friends, he got out of property, he pulled out of everything, and he put it into Bitcoin. Now, he did well. He got in already, and he's like, there's never a bad time to buy Bitcoin. And like, even when it was going up and up and up, he was like, just buy it, just accumulate it, just get it in and hold and see. So I mean, that's kind of, I think that's insane. Like, to bet on one thing, like, even if it were gold and he were doing it, I'd be like, dude, just no. Like,
well, it's the big ones, right? They're going after the massive, because they're either going to be a big winner or they're going to suck wind. Or, I mean, to some degree, it could sit there like, I don't know, for the longest time, Microsoft stock did nothing, nothing until is it Patai, the latest CEO that came on board, 10 years ago or however many years ago, and then he finally started turning the company around. But for the longest time, it didn't matter what you do. You bought Microsoft stock up $10, down $10, whatever. There's no real volatility to it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Or it could all go to zero. The government, decides to come in, and to your point, though, the reality is the technology doesn't have to go away, because the subversive elements, a la Matrix, the first scene in Matrix, follow the white rabbit, and he's sitting there, and they're changing things. The subversive elements can always use it, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be able to go down and get your Domino's pizza with it.
Well, up until a few weeks ago, I would have agreed with you. However, with these things like Litecoin, and with this thing where, like, if people are selling courses on how to set up your Bitcoin store so you can take Bitcoin as payment, I think, actually, you probably can. Now, is it going to be a big thing? Well, no, probably not. But PayPal wasn't to begin with. And look at what PayPal is doing now. And PayPal came about purely because of these few lines of code that allowed you to do encryption. Now, PayPal have got all of these add-on services. And if you think about it, conceptually, that's what all of these different coins are doing. So, the Ethereum platform has taken the Bitcoin principle and evolved it so that you can do contracts and so on. And the Litecoin is built on top of Ethereum, if I'm not mistaken. So you have all of these kind of spin-offs, and eventually one of them is going to come out, and you're going to be in a situation where, why are you laughing?
I'm not laughing. I'm just thinking. And that concludes this week with cryptocurrency and science fiction authors. My name is Michael Anderley. Your name is
Leigh Clarke.
And we will talk to you again, because we've got to get our author notes done, young lady.
I didn't you ask, like, how are you or something?
Yeah. Well, I started, and then you started talking about your hair. I mean, you were going on such a fucking rant. It was hilarious. So I'm like, you got to record this shit. And I don't even know if we even ended up with your hair at all.
No, we're off topic somehow. This is your fault. So anyway,
I know.
No,
but I think that's perfect. I do see that I only have you for 36 more minutes to be able to get this author notes done. So for the rest of you, just badger Leigh Clarke. That's spelled ELLEIGHCLARK with an E, and say, hey, you'd like to hear more of her discussions. Ciao.
Bye.
You've been listening to Author Shenanigans.
Two authors separated by common language.
I'm Leigh Clarke, author of... I couldn't even say my name then. Here we go.
That's right. Go ahead. Did you spell it right?
Fuck off. You've been listening to Author Shenanigans.
Two authors separated by a common language.
I'm Leigh Clarke, author of The Ascension Myth.
And I'm Michael Anderley, creator of the Arthurian Gambit.
And you can check out other episodes on lawnfairies.com. Bye for now.
Ciao. Arrivederci. Auf Wiedersehen.
Okay. Oh, you want me to stop the recording?